This is day 12 of the Russian invasion of Ukraine. The global community is cornering the Kremlin. More than 40 companies have pulled out of Russia. The West is mulling more sanctions, but the Russian president has no plans to de-escalate. Major Ukrainian cities are bearing the brunt of Russia's aggression. Look at this. This is Kyiv, the second largest city of Ukraine. Since last week, the Russian forces have relentlessly bombed Kyiv, and this is what the city looks like today.
Смотрите, сколько военных.
Это вот это, что мы видели, да? Это что нам оттуда было видно. А что ж это за здание было?
Civilians are coming in the line of fire. The United Nations says more than 350 civilians have been killed in Ukraine so far. 350 innocent lives lost, and this is just the official figure. The actual death toll is much higher. The Ukrainian president, Volodymyr Zelensky, has vowed revenge. What options does he have? So far, the resilient Ukrainian forces have managed to contain the mighty Russian army, but can they overcome Russia? On Gravitas tonight, we discuss. Let's start with what happened in Irpin over the weekend. Irpin is a town near the capital city of Kyiv. A large number of people have been leaving from here. Civilians have come under attack. What I'm about to show you is graphic. This video came out yesterday. On your screen now is a street in Irpin. Some reporters are trying to speak to a local. Look carefully now. Behind that man, some people are trying to leave the town. What happened next is truly shocking.
Що вчора було з дітьми, кажеш?
Погано було. Дітей 200-х вивозили, мирне населення, маленькі. Смотрите его! Стоять!
All right. A rocket came out of nowhere and fell on a family. 3 civilians died in this strike alone. The ceasefire for the safe passage of refugees is not working. Key cities remain encircled. Russia announced humanitarian corridors to transport Ukrainians, but Kyiv has termed the move completely immoral. Ukraine says these corridors are a stunt designed to show Moscow in a good light. Ukraine is also blaming Russia for attacking civilians. Volodymyr Zelensky is outraged. The Ukrainian president has issued a warning to Moscow. He said there will be no forgiveness and Russian forces will face a day of judgment.
Ми не пробачимо розстріляних житлових будинків. Ми не пробачимо ракету, яку наша протиповітряна оборона збила сьогодні над Охмаддідом. І ще більше 500 інших таких ракет, які вдарили по нашій землі.
Strong words there from President Zelensky. There are more in Ukraine who are angry like him, like the locals in Kherson. Kherson was captured by the Russian forces last week. The locals there are now taking to the streets. This video emerged a few days back. The residents of the city took out a demonstration against the Russian occupation. So there is a strong anti-Russia sentiment in Ukraine. The people of Ukraine are supporting their armed forces. They want to fight the Russians, but that does not bother Vladimir Putin. The Russian president has refused to de-escalate. He has vowed to press ahead with his offensive. Yesterday, the Kremlin issued a comment from President Putin. It says, I'm quoting now, it was underlined that the suspension of this special operation is only possible if Kyiv stops military operations and carries out well-known Russian demands. To put it simply, Moscow wants Ukraine to lay down its arms. Kyiv has rejected these demands. Ukraine is hitting back. It wants to embarrass Russia wherever it can. Kyiv has taken the conflict to the International Court of Justice. The Ukrainian government has appealed to the ICJ. It is seeking an immediate stop to the Russian invasion. That hearing was today and Russia decided to skip it. Moscow sent no representatives to the International Court of Justice. Empty chairs represented Russia at The Hague. The hearings began despite the absence of Russia. They will continue tomorrow. So will the dialogue. The foreign ministers of Russia and Ukraine will be meeting this week. Turkey is playing mediator for these talks. It will host the foreign ministers in Antalya. So far, Russia and Ukraine have held 2 rounds of dialogue with a 3rd round today. So far, no signals towards a truce. But the global community is increasingly pushing Moscow and Kyiv to end this conflict through dialogue. And this includes India. The Indian Prime Minister, Narendra Modi, spoke to both Volodymyr Zelensky and Vladimir Putin. He thanked Zelensky for Ukraine's help in the evacuation of Indian students. Speaking to Putin, Prime Minister Modi pressed for the safe evacuation of the Indian students in Sumy. Some of them are still stranded there. Russian forces have encircled Sumy. The city is facing heavy shelling. So what was the Russian president's response? Once again, he claimed that Indian students were held up by radicals in Kharkiv. Earlier, remember, Russia had claimed Indian students were taken hostage in Ukraine, and India had denied these claims. New Delhi had said it received no reports of any hostage situation. Today, Prime Minister Modi asked Vladimir Putin to hold direct talks with Volodymyr Zelensky, something that Putin has refused to do so far. WION now available in your country. Download the app now. Get all the news on the move.